Do you have these top 3 most rare and valuable Washington quarter dollars worth big money? Some of these rare quarters have sold for over $35,000 at auctions, and that could make you rich. Could you be sitting on a hidden fortune? You might have one without even knowing it. The Washington quarter has been a staple of U.S. currency since its introduction in 1932, but some of the most fascinating examples of this coin arise from errors during the minting process. The 1965 Washington quarter is particularly notable because it represents a pivotal moment in the history of U.S. coinage, the transition from silver to clad coinage. In addition to its historical significance, errors on 1965 quarters have captured the interest of collectors, with some pieces fetching substantial sums in auctions. This comprehensive guide explores the history of the 1965 Washington quarter, details the types of errors that make certain specimens rare, and discusses their values in today's numismatic market. The year 1965 marked a significant change in U.S. coinage with the passage of the Coinage Act of 1965. This legislation ended the use of silver in quarters and dimes, replacing the composition with a copper-nickel clad structure. The change was driven by rising silver prices, which had made it increasingly expensive to produce coins with silver content. Before 1965, quarters contained 90% silver and 10% copper, but starting that year, the mint transitioned to a clad composition of outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a core of pure copper. The new quarters retained the same weight, 5.67 grams, and size, 24.3 millimeters in diameter, as their silver predecessors, but had a distinct appearance and lack of intrinsic metal value. These measures helped alleviate the coin shortage, but the high production numbers also made errors more likely, creating opportunities for collectors to discover rare anomalies. Error coins are created when something goes wrong during the minting process. The 1965 Washington quarter has several notable errors that are highly sought after by collectors. Below are the most significant types of errors and anomalies. Type of error: more dramatic and rare errors are more valuable. Condition: uncirculated coins are significantly more valuable than circulated ones. Market demand: popular error types, like transitional errors, tend to fetch higher prices. Market trends and notable sales: the 1965 transitional error on a silver planchet is one of the most valuable Washington quarter errors. Recent auction sales include a PCGS MS62 graded example sold for $7,800. A higher grade specimen in PCGS MS64 fetched $16,450 at auction. Other error types, such as double dies and missing clad layers, also remain in demand, with prices steadily increasing over the years due to heightened collector interest. Conclusion: the 1965 Washington quarter is a landmark coin in U.S. history, representing the shift from silver to clad composition. While billions were minted, error coins from this year offer a fascinating and valuable subset for collectors. From transitional errors on silver planchets to double dies and if you have a 1976 D bicentennial quarter, it could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even more. Face screaming in fear. That's right. Some of these rare error quarters have sold for astonishing amounts at auctions, and you won't believe the incredible prices collectors are paying. Could you be holding one of these ultra-valuable coins? Stick around to find out the exact errors that make these quarters worth a fortune. Trophy money with wings. History of the 1976 D bicentennial quarter. The 1976 bicentennial quarter was created to commemorate America's 200th anniversary of independence. Unlike regular quarters, the Denver Mint, D mint mark, produced millions of these coins, but some contain errors so rare that they command jaw-dropping prices at auctions. In total, the Denver Mint struck over 860 million quarters, but only a small fraction contain valuable minting mistakes that make them worth way more than face value. Most valuable 1976 D error quarters. What makes a bicentennial quarter go from 25 cents to thousands of dollars? It all comes down to mint errors and rare varieties. Here are some of the most sought after and valuable errors. Double die obverse, DDO, error, worth $1,000 to $7,000 plus. One of the most famous and valuable error types, the double die obverse, DDO, occurs when the coin is struck twice with a slight shift. These coins can fetch thousands at auctions. A rare, high-grade 1976 D DDO quarter has even sold for over $7,000. OFF center strike, worth $500 to $5,000. Coins that are misaligned during striking, leaving part of the design missing, are highly collectible. If you find a 1976 D bicentennial quarter that is at least 40 to 50% off-center, you might be looking at a $1,000 plus coin. Clipped planchet error, worth $300 to $2,500. When the metal sheet used to make coins is improperly cut, a piece of the quarter is missing. These clipped planchet errors are valuable, especially when they have a clear, crescent-like missing portion. Some of these coins have sold for upwards of $2,500. Struck on wrong planchet, worth $5,000 to $15,000 plus. A 1976 D quarter mistakenly struck on a dime, nickel, or foreign coin planchet is an extreme rarity that can bring in five-figure prices. Imagine finding a bicentennial quarter on a silver or copper-nickel planchet that doesn't belong. It could be worth a life-changing amount. Full drum lines MS 67 plus, worth $2,000 to $10,000. For collectors seeking the highest quality coins, a mint state, MS 67 plus bicentennial quarter with fully visible drum lines can sell for staggering prices. The highest graded examples have sold for $10,000 or more. Auction records, just how much are they selling for? Small blue diamond in 2022, a rare 1976 D bicentennial quarter with an MS 68 grade sold for an unbelievable $19,200 at auction. Small blue diamond a DDO bicentennial quarter fetched over $7,000 in a past auction. Small blue diamond a mistruck. There's a special 1976 bicentennial quarter out there that could be worth not just hundreds, but thousands of dollars. Yes, you heard that right. Some of these quarters have sold for amounts that will leave you speechless. So, before you spend that 1976 quarter on a cup of coffee, you might want to stick around until the end of this video to see if you have one of these rare treasures. Background: the 1976 bicentennial quarter. The 1976 bicentennial quarter was released to commemorate America's 200th anniversary of independence. Unlike regular quarters, these special coins feature a unique reverse design showcasing a colonial drummer with a torch and 13 stars above his head. Struck between 1975 and 1976, these quarters do not bear the typical single-year mint mark but instead feature the dual date 1776 to 1976. Millions of these quarters were produced, but what truly sets some of them apart, and makes them worth thousands, are the rare mint errors and special varieties that make collectors go crazy. Valuable errors and their worth. Let's dive into the most sought-after 1976 bicentennial quarter errors that could make you a fortune. Double die obverse, DDO, $500 to $5,000 plus. Depending on the strength of the doubling, these quarters can be worth anywhere from $500 to over $5,000. Double die reverse, DDR, $1,000 to $7,000 plus. Collectors have paid upwards of $7,000 for well-defined examples of this rare variety. Off-center strikes, $800 to $10,000 plus. If you find a bicentennial quarter that appears misaligned or missing a portion of the design, you could be holding a valuable off-center strike error. The value depends on how much of the design is missing. Coins that are around 40 to 60% off-center can sell for as much as $10,000. Clipped planchet, $500 to $3,000 plus. A clipped planchet error happens when part of the metal blank is missing before the coin is struck. Some of these can sell for anywhere from $500 to $3,000 depending on the size and shape of the clip. Wrong planchet errors, $2,000 to $15,000 plus. A few bicentennial quarters were mistakenly struck on nickel or even silver planchets. If you find a bicentennial quarter that seems heavier or has a different metallic sheen, it could be a rare wrong planchet error worth $2,000 to an astonishing $15,000. Missing clad layer, $1,000 to $6,000 plus. Some bicentennial quarters have a missing clad layer, revealing a copper core on one side. These unique pieces have fetched prices ranging from $1,000 to over $6,000 at auctions. Record-breaking sales of the 1976 bicentennial quarter. Some of these rare quarters have shattered expectations at auctions. Here are a few notable examples. A 1976 bicentennial quarter with a dramatic off-center strike sold for a jaw-dropping $10,560. A double die reverse bicentennial quarter fetched an incredible $7,200. A rare quarter struck on a silver planchet instead of a clad one sold for over $15,000.